And welcome back to another edition of the Voices of the Voiceless podcast with 1 5-star rating on iTunes. I am John Fisher alongside Brad Shepard, and my mic's working, so that's fun. So I sound okay this week. If at any point in time I start to not talk, I'm going to get my shitty microphone, so y'all are going to have to bear with me and fucking just deal with it. I mean, I don't care. I don't care what you do. As long as you rate us 5 stars on iTunes. Today was filled with douchebaggery, funny moments, and Johnny Fairplay. Brad.
Yeah, actually, why don't we talk about the Johnny Fairplay thing first? I think that would.
I don't understand what the big deal is. All right, so basically, Johnny Fairplay. First of all, who is that? I've heard his name before. I don't know who the hell he is. What is he?
He won Survivor and is in the Survivor Hall of Fame, whatever that means. He also was. Okay, well, I'm just telling you. He was a manager in TNA. He actually.
So he's relevant now. He has all the opportunity in the world to call the shots at some point because he used to work in TNA. That makes you completely reliable.
He worked some in the Indies. He had a 2-year deal with TNA. He was only used 8 times and paid $300,000 for a 2-year deal.
Oh wow!
He was used like less than 5. I mean, it was unbelievable. Though that's very TNA of TNA though. But
they're idiots.
Yeah. But Johnny Fairplay was a special guest on Wade Keller's live cast reviewing Raw and discussing relevant WWE topics. And they had a caller call in and ask a question about potential Bullet Club involvement with Brock Lesnar. And I'm going to play the clip, and John, we'll get your reaction.
My second thing is with Brock. Where do you see him as a SummerSlam? Do you think that the Bullet Club will go after him right after SummerSlam with Balor? Or do you guys think that AJ will come in and get the title and it'll be him and Brock and finally somebody will be happy? That's it. I'll talk to you guys next week.
Thanks, DJ. Johnny, what do you think? I'm not super excited about any Brock Lesnar match right now. They need to do some work to get me excited about it. What do you think of DJ's ideas?
Once again, I was front row at NXT 2 weeks ago. I saw Finn Balor for the first time. I think he's an amazing talent, and he was much shorter than I thought he would be. Yeah. So I do not see Finn Balor in the ring with Brock Lesnar possibly ever. So.
I think Brock is twice as big as Finn Balor. I think he's not only half the weight, half the height, but half the circumference, half the diameter. I'm not one to say that, they Big Show and Ray had a semi-credible, big man, small man matchup. I'm not saying it's impossible to tell that story, but it's tough. I mean, I love Finn Balor, and I think that they can make a lot of money with him, but I think avoiding a Brock Lesnar match is one of the ways to make money with Finn Balor.
There you go.
Okay. Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho are 6 foot and 6 foot, or I'm sorry, 6'1" and 6 foot respectively. Finn Balor is 5'11". Who the fuck cares how tall he is?
No.
Okay. Period.
Well, Chris Jericho is not even close to 6 foot, actually. Legit.
Well, that's from Wikipedia, which I understand. Trust what you will about Wikipedia, but like height and weight's usually pretty accurate, just for like miscellaneous things like that. So I'll believe Jericho's 6 foot. Sure.
No, he's absolutely not. He's more like 5'9" at most.
Okay, so that even furthers my point. Maybe Balor.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, absolutely, it does.
But every week you're like, he's short. Or fuck, damn. He's like. By the way, your Vince impression has a lot to be desired. He doesn't actually scream like that, but he does do Festus impressions. Check Cage Side Seats for that story. You won't want to miss it. No, I mean, he's like, oh, goddamn, he's short. What are we going to do? And you have that. But so what? I don't get why you are always on people about being short in the World Wrestling Entertainment. Apollo Crews, who will be a star one day. He will be. Is shorter than the average John Cena or Randy Orton. Fucking, you got guys like Wyatt. Wyatt can't be more than 6'1". Can't be. Because 6'6" Braun Strowman, buff douchebag, is like 6'7". And he towers over Bray. So the whole height thing is completely overrated.
Well, I mean, not everyone can be born with my height genetics, certainly.
Yeah, well, you're a freak, okay? And I myself am only 5'8" ish, and I think that's plenty.
Yeah, I mean that's a great height for a woman.
Yeah. Okay. Is that like another dig that I'm single? Because like I get enough of those on a daily basis.
No, actually, it was a short joke, but okay.
Don't shorter people live longer? Have fun with the rest of your 30 years, okay? Which I hope is more, obviously, but still. Finn Balor being short means nothing. No, he's not going to work with Brock Lesnar. It doesn't make any sense. Like that's the extent of it. But I think if they were to actually do it properly, it would make sense. Oh, you know it would be good for someone who just retired yesterday, CM Punk and Finn Balor. That'd be a hell of a feud, I tell you what.
Yeah, it would. I don't think I don't think Balor matches up well with Lesnar at all.
No, he doesn't. You're right.
I don't have any desire to see it. I don't think it would go over well. It would just be too unbelievable, and it's just not something I'd be a fan of seeing.
No, so, I agree. I agree with that.
I mean, height's not, in all seriousness, height is not it is important to a degree, absolutely. And people who have a 6 in front of their height more than a 5 are going to be the rule, not the exception. Someone who's 5'8", 5'9" is the exception to the rule. And we're going to have those, and plenty of those people have been successful. That's fine. So I don't think it's everything. It's not as much as it used to be, but it still does have some relevance, especially in the eyes of Vince McMahon.
I agree. I agree. So, and hopefully the trend doesn't continue. Well, shit, he's guessing the Vaudevillains being caught up because he doesn't believe in them, and they're not very tall. So maybe you're right after all. Maybe you are.
Well, the Vaudevillains are going to be the new #1 contenders. I said that a couple of weeks ago on the podcast.
And you think Enzo and Cass are going to be screwed by the Dudleys, so they have a match at Payback? Or no,
absolutely.
The match is at Payback. Then I'm walking match. So what, are we going to get a blow off at Extreme Rules?
Well, hopefully much sooner than that. But we're going to have something, I think. Yeah, I think the Dudleys are going to interfere and cost Enzo and Cass the match, or as Lillian Garcia calls him, Colin Cassidy.
All right, and that's okay. Now I got to do something. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. Hold on. I'm getting there. Hold on.
I would say her announcing isn't stable.
Stop it. She's actually a very attractive woman. Oh my God. So Wendy's, sponsored by Wendy's, the chicken BLT plus a 4-piece nugget is a lot more calories than it says on the box. Wait for it. Wait for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome superstar.
The best ring announcer of all time. Sorry, Finkel. Sorry. Tony Chimel.
Oh, I don't think so.
Oh, no.
How are you? Tony Chimel couldn't even lace Howard the Finkel's shoes.
Yes, I love Tony Chimel to death. I really do. He's just fucking amazing.
I mean, he's an improvement over Lillian Garcia. I don't think that's even a question.
Yeah, well, so is a third grader who does the national anthem right before school. Okay, I mean, even better yet. Remember how remember in grade school back in the 50s for you. Remember back then, right before the Vietnam War, how they had kids in school. How they had kids in school do the Pledge of Allegiance. That's what they would be an improvement over Lillian Garcia. It honestly, it's only been as of late too, because historically she's been pretty good. Except for adding an O at the end of championship, like a dumb shit.
Yeah, well,
there's not an O. There's not an O in ship. Okay, it's not championship. It's the championship. Get it right. It's not hard. Oh well.
Yeah, I don't know. She just when she announces things, and I would just say she has a hard time getting the main event right. You know.
You think you're funny, but what you said actually makes sense. So,
Yeah, no,
bad.
she does. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Awful.
Okay, I'm out of horse jokes. All right, let's move on.
She does. She's a beautiful woman. You're telling me
She is.
that
Yeah.
if she didn't show up at your doorstep, granted you were single, all right, and she said, "Brad, take me," you wouldn't. You lie. You would.
I would. I would take her right out back into the fenced area where I put all the other horses.
All right, so more of the story. Gary the intern was a lazy fuck and didn't make the agenda this week. So this is a basic for 45 minutes because I have to get up at 3 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. We're filming this Wednesday night instead of Thursday because I'm flying home for the weekend for my birthday, my Michael Jordan birthday. I have to get up at 3 a.m. and it's already 7:30. So you're getting 45 minutes of us whether you guys like it or not. Deal with it. Whose gimmick was that? Deal with it. Was that Ryback's gimmick? No, that was
No.
Batista's gimmick.
Batista.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blue-tista.
I see. I love Batista. He was so funny. Well, now they have Batista #2 with Luke Gallows. And speaking of Luke Gallows, what did you think of Monday Night Raw? I know of many people who hated it still because they're arrogant fucks, especially a certain podcast that I listen to, and I might stop listening to because, honest to God, they're just reaching for material now.
Well, just don't beat around the bush. Tell us.
Do you really know who I'm talking about?
I don't.
Oh, it's the What's Wrong with WWE podcast. I've been listening to them for months, and they're phenomenal. I wasn't talking about you because I know you actually enjoy the show as a whole. I don't know what it is. Their title is What's Wrong with WWE. I understand that, and that's the whole gimmick, and you're supposed to hate the show. But they live the gimmick. They really do. They hated last week. They hated this week. And I even tweeted at them. I'm like, how could you have hated that show? I mean, it's all your opinion, but
isn't at least one of them a former writer?
No. That's We Watch Wrestling. No. With the We Watch Wrestling podcast, I'll say it is fucking phenomenal.
Okay.
You really should listen to it. I don't know. I mean, I know you listen to Keller and others, but We Watch Wrestling is damn good. But the What's Wrong with WWE podcast, it's just getting old. You can only hate on WWE so much. If it was TNA, sure, you could hate on them till the cows came home, or in Brad's fact, until the horses came home. But when you're talking about like Raw the past few weeks, it's been good. Logic has subsided because logic doesn't matter, obviously. But the actual product has been pretty damn good.
Well, I think it's been a drastic improvement over what we've had, frankly, in a long time. Yeah. So Raw kicked off with Dean Ambrose for a promo.
Awesome.
With the Ambrose Asylum.
Awesome.
Now, to me, I don't like the wacky, goofy stuff they're doing with him. I mean, they've got him in the role. They think he's best suited, whatever. I'm a big Dean Ambrose fan. The guy continues to get over with corny material, and he just delivers it in a way that the fans would buy into it. I mean, could you imagine Roman Reigns repeating the lines that Dean Ambrose had to in this promo segment? It would have fallen flat as a board.
That's why Roman Reigns isn't the star of the show, whether they want to admit it or not.
Well, and he wasn't the star of the show in this episode as well.
Nope.
I mean, he was just kind of like someone that they put in there in the show, and it was, it's very interesting. So, but no, the promo was fine for what it was. Shane came out, and I've really enjoyed the Shane stuff. I've been a Shane McMahon fan for years.
Yep.
Again, you do have to put all logic aside. It makes no fucking sense whatsoever.
No, WrestleMania 32 didn't matter. Hashtag that. But
for what it is, I've enjoyed Shane's role the last couple of weeks on Raw. And we had some guys. I mean, he talked about people like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and the people that never would have had a shot. Jericho comes out and he has a problem with Shane McMahon. Said he's drunk with power.
And
for
how
taking over
good
the
has
highlight reel.
Jericho been over the past month or so?
Yeah, I mean, I've got to be honest. At first, I mean, I thought it was his worst run at first, but the last, like you said, about the last month-ish, I've enjoyed him. Now, granted, I don't think he should be winning as much as he is, but as far as his actual performance, it's been very good. The heel Jericho stuff, that's his bread and butter. I think that's where he's really good.
But now you have the aspect of unpredictability with his matches. Whereas previous years, you knew he was losing no matter what. Now you really don't know, which I think is a good thing. I mean, it's just like his heel run, 6 years ago in 2010 when he became the World Heavyweight Champ. It's fucking unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
He was phenomenal. And he didn't have to win. No, he could have put over young guys. But he did, and he won, and he was spectacular. Hell, they didn't let Shawn Michaels go over on him in that feud. They had Jericho win it. He did put over Randy. But that was because Randy was killing everybody at that point. So, I mean, you really didn't have a choice there. But Jericho's been great. The opening segment was great. You're going with Owens and Zayn at Payback, which is brilliant. They should have done it at Mania, but I'm glad they're doing it now. I have no complaints. No, none at all.
Well, so we had Jericho in an impromptu match against Sami Zayn, and
great match.
Jericho wins clean with the code burger. Yes, it was a good match.
He didn't win clean. He did the eye gouge. He cheated to win, but the ref didn't see it. So technically, no, he didn't. If we're gonna, well, I'm miscorrecting you. Sorry.
No, you're right. That is something that I forgot. You're right. He didn't win. He cheated in that regard to win.
But he pinned clean. Yes.
He did. Yeah. So another win for Jericho, and frankly, I think they're going with Sami Zayn as the underdog, and it could work, right? I mean,
what else would you look at how
you look at how he was booked in NXT. He was the underdog. He didn't lose a lot, but he tended to lose the big ones he just came up a little short. And I actually think that's a very good way to book him. And they could do that on the main roster and have it be effective as well. They just can't continually beat him. He's got to win some too. And hopefully that's what they do.
And I think, but I have Owens win this match. I have a big rematch at Extreme Rules, and an Extreme Rules match maybe. Let them revert back to their Ring of Honor days. Who knows? There's a lot of options to go with it. And that's one thing that really pissed me off about the podcast I listen to. And I hate to keep bringing it up, but the incessant bitching about how much they hate it. Shut up. Don't watch. Yeah, you're getting thousands of downloads a week on your podcast. But seriously, they actually said, I feel bad for NXT fans because they have to see the same shit with Owens and Zayn again. And then with Charlotte and Natalya.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. You know what, Brad? You know what? Here, I'm going to do something for you.
I can hardly wait.
You would know that because I'm an NXT fan. Watch NXT.
Hold on.
Classic. Right. So Shane then says that Payback Jericho will face Ambrose and Sami Zayn will face Owens, which is no surprise at all. We knew that was coming. And then Shane leaves the ring.
Jesus, I'm glad I don't watch NXT. And I'm serious about this.
Right.
Because apparently they're redoing everything that they did. They were like, it worked in NXT. Let's do it on Raw and on pay-per-views like they've never seen it.
Right.
For NXT fans, they've got to be angrier than I am because you know what I mean? I at least haven't seen this whole we'll get to the Divas title match later. They've already done that on NXT.
Yeah.
Flair in one corner, Bret Hart in the other corner. I only know that because I read it on rumors and news.
They did?
They already did that.
They did Charlotte and Natalya?
Yes.
Yeah.
For the NXT title with both of their uncles and dads in the corners.
Except
already did it.
when they did it, Charlotte was the face and Natalya was the heel.
So Bret Hart was a heel manager?
He was managing a heel, but
No,
everyone's like, oh my God, it's Bret Hart.
He's Bret Hart.
It's like HBK helping a heel Triple H. Nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah,
Exactly.
right. Yeah.
They're just happy he's there.
All right. Well, that's disappointing to know.
Yeah. So there we go.
Wow.
Yeah. Your thoughts?
Well, those guys are a bunch of goddamn idiots. That's my first thought. I mean,
Well,
wow.
they're the biggest. They're smart marks who don't watch anything but WWE.
Well, yeah, they don't. Yeah. Anyway, look. Sometimes predictability in wrestling is a good thing.
Yeah.
It's okay to be predictable if something is booked correctly because people want to see it. They want to be strung along to the finale, to the big battle, so to speak. That's okay.
Shawn and Taker.
Yeah, I mean, it happens time after time in wrestling. And the fans will want to see this. By the way, NXT is a small part of the WWE audience. If you're on the network, you see it. If you're one of millions of fans who watch Raw, there are millions of fans who watch Raw that don't have the network that, by the way, probably haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Okay? So it isn't new for most of the audience, I would say. Jesus Christ. I mean, what a bunch of fucking morons.
Yeah.
Do they like anything? That's what I would ask. Do they like anything?
They like Dean Ambrose, Kevin Owens, and Seth Rollins, and Shane McMahon partly. They like Sasha Banks. That's about it.
Jesus.
Yeah, well, they like all the important people.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah. So what else? What else happened on Raw that was pretty interesting?
Okay, so we had Roman Reigns come out, and he was massively booed.
I'm not, and they didn't edit that. Are you surprised? Because I was so shocked. I even put on Twitter at Fisher Wrestling. By the way, I changed my hashtag again. I changed my handle again. Fisher Wrestling. Remember 1,000 follows. Go suck it. So you had Roman come out to no edited crowd cheers. He's a heel. Fuck it, he's a heel. I'll fight you to the death on that. He's a heel now. They just didn't tell anyone he was a heel.
Yeah, it's. I mean, he's being treated by a lot of the fans as a heel. Look at how the audience perceives him.
Look at his promo. What did he say?
His promo, his mannerisms, body language, it all screams heel. Absolutely. And maybe he will turn heel. Maybe he turns heel at Payback.
When the Bullet Club aligns with Roman Reigns and beats up AJ Styles.
I think the more likely scenario, though, is Finn Balor debuts on the main roster, teams up with Gallows and Anderson, and attacks AJ Styles and costs him the match.
I'm getting a beer, by the way. I need it. I need to go to bed soon. I'm cautious. There's that crack of the can. I'm cautious because I've been hearing on the rumor mill that Balor and Samoa Joe are not coming up until SummerSlam. And remember, NXT TakeOver is in June in London, and they have their UK tour also in June, which Balor is the headliner.
Yeah, I mean, I think he could definitely do both. I mean, we've seen that before with the NXT champion. So, and as they always say, the card is subject to change.
All very true, very true. So. Okay, so I don't know. I have money on Gallows and Anderson siding with Roman.
Yeah, I don't want to see that at all. I really don't.
I do. The internet will flip its fucking lid, and it'd be funny as hell.
I mean, Roman heel, yes, but with Gallows and Anderson, it's just not there's no story to it. I don't want to see it, and I don't think it's a good fit. There's no story to it, and the natural fit is definitely AJ Styles or especially Finn Balor.
I don't know. I don't know. I see. It'd be just sweet release for me to watch everyone cry their smart tears if Gallows and Anderson align with Roman Reigns, and have them explain it on Monday, right? Like, AJ's a loser. He could never win the big one. What else? He lost his way out of New Japan. He was beaten down by everybody. I don't know, because they did say New Japan on Raw, if you caught that.
Yeah, but they've totally ignored the fact that that those guys attacked him on his last appearance at New Japan Pro Wrestling.
I know.
So I don't think they'll involve that.
They can say you're a loser. We've been following you for years, and you're a backstabber. I don't know. Maybe they will say that. Maybe they will say we stabbed you in the back in Japan for a good reason. We want to be where the star is. We want to make money. I don't know. You can go a lot of places with it, but I think that would actually make Roman get over.
As a heel, yeah.
Yes, he wouldn't have to talk.
But he can get over as a heel without that.
I know, but they're
really
not.
Can.
They're not going
to. They could introduce someone to. I know, but they could introduce a new guy to the main roster, and that would help them get over. Someone like a Finn Balor.
Perhaps. I'm still extremely weird. You know what? If they were to debut Balor in Chicago, it'd be the best decision they could ever make because he would not get any kind of reception close to that until SummerSlam in Brooklyn. So they have two choices. And it has to be in a marked crowd to capitalize on the reaction that he'll get, which will in turn make others that don't know who he is, follow the crowd, if you will, and do the same thing. So two times, Payback, SummerSlam, only two places that Balor can debut. And it must be in a marked crowd. I cannot stress that enough.
Yeah. Cesaro is still using his male stripper gimmick.
He is, but he pulled out a Roddy Piper reference on his birthday, and I forgave him for that immediately.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. But I don't think he should beat The Miz.
I don't.
For the title.
I don't. But where do you put Cesaro? He needs a title. He needs better entrance music, and he needs a championship. Once those two things happen, it'll be gold and easy peas. Easy peas. It's going to happen.
Yeah, there's just been too much hot potato with the Intercontinental title for me. They've really devalued their secondary titles, the U.S., the Intercontinental. We're back in that place again, and I don't think that's what they need to do. So, but in good news, what? Go ahead.
I think the Intercontinental, it's not downgraded yet. It's on the dissension, but it's not there where it was before Bryan won it. Not yet. Not yet. Soon, but not yet. Maybe they can, because Miz is a great heel. So maybe they can revamp it. Who knows? What were you going to say? The
good news is we had my boy, Big Banter, Baron Corbin, squash the Fandango. As Dolph Ziggler watched in terror, and then Corbin threw Fandango onto Ziggler. And they proceeded to have a brawl where he did, in fact, kick Ziggler's ass again. This was great.
I know you're a big Baron Corbin fan. Did you hear him tell someone in the audience, "Shut up, this is for you"?
Yeah, they had called him stupid, and so he's great. That's why I said Big Banter. I mean, he's great at that. Man, he plays the asshole character so good. That's exactly the kind of stuff he needs to do. It's great. I love it.
Yeah.
And on SmackDown, he kicks Dolph Ziggler's ass again. I love it. And I hope they face each other at Payback, and he kicks his ass again.
The Dolph Ziggler marks are going to be really mad at you for that. They are.
Send me your tweets. I don't care. I hope Big Banter kicks his ass right out of the company. How's that?
Well, you don't like Dolph Ziggler? Why not? Ziggler's cool.
No, I like Ziggler. I'm a big Baron Corbin fan.
So, what do you think of?
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Someone like Baron Corbin, he got my height genetics.
He does.
Yes, he's very tall. That's very appealing.
How tall is your wife?
She is 5'4".
That's not so bad of a height difference.
It could be worse.
It could be a lot worse. I was just wondering if you were only attracted to tall people.
No. I'm not a heightist.
A heightist. That's a real thing.
Yeah, I'm not.
Okay, good. So speaking of Dolph Ziggler, you had me on the Dolph Ziggler, which means Vince McMahon, which means Vince hates Dolph Ziggler. So talk about with me Vince McMahon suspending Connor, which we'll get into what really made you rage today. Connor, and then also suspending Adam Rose for 60 days for the wellness policy, which in turn, spoiler alert for a live show in Newcastle, I believe, Victor joined the Social Outcasts. I'm not making that up.
No, I saw that and was just thinking, wow, that's just. I mean, I guess it's good for him in that gives him something to do. He can't help that his partner got suspended.
No,
So that's for him. It's good, I guess. But man, how stupid!
I know. So Connor. All right. So for those that don't know, there was an article by Hollywood Life, and we are not saying this is true or if this is untrue because we are not sure. But they had a double picture of Adam Rose and Connor, what was supposed to be Connor from the Ascension, but instead it was Connor Mahalik or Connor the Crusher. For those of you who remember his heartbreaking story, I tweeted it out, and I saw it on Saturday. I just didn't comment on it. And apparently, and the story is that they changed it from Adam Rose to Kalisto, thinking he was Connor, and then they changed it to a third time and finally got it right. My thoughts are simple. I don't want to go into a diatribe. I even said in the thing, whoever made that should be fired. Whether it was just some douchebag who thought he was funny, or someone actually from Hollywood Life who is not a false news outlet. They're not like a fake account or anything. But I don't know. I know, Brad, you were pretty fired up about it, as you should have been, as anybody should have been. It's just not funny. If you see it on Twitter, let me know and tweet at me at Fisher Wrestling. Let me know what you think.
It's not funny, and the person who did it is a stupid fucking asshole who deserves to have their face punched in. And that's how I feel about it, whether anybody likes it or not. Making fun of kids with cancer who died is not funny. Nope. It's not a funny joke. It's not a funny meme. And if you do that, I hope you don't vote. I hope you don't reproduce. I hope you don't interact with normal society, because you are a fucking cancer to society. It's not funny.
I could not agree more. Yeah, it's what I just figured I threw it out there to see what you thought. I mean, I know what you thought on it already, but to see what everyone else would think, yeah, tweet at me at Fisher Wrestling, and talk to Brad at the VOTV podcast, and let us know what you think of it. It's pretty sick. I'm not going to delete my tweet so everyone can see it. No reason to. But the transition from a rather unfortunate subject to a funny ass subject, Brad, this will pick your spirits up. This is posted. And yeah, guys, we're all over the map today as far as topics. Fucking deal with it. I don't care. I'm kidding, of course. We have no agenda. Gary had a lot to do today. So, posted by Ryan Satin of the Pro Wrestling Sheet. Really nice guy. And I quote, former WCW World Champ David Arquette. Before I continue, Brad, where do you think I'm going with this?
I have no idea.
Okay, so you haven't seen the news release.
I have not seen it.
Okay, quote, former WCW World Champ David Arquette claims he pitched an idea to Lucha Underground for a role he wanted to play on the show, but the powers that be didn't seem interested. Arquette told BroomstickComics.com, what a wonderful website, he was trying to play a manager named El Borracho, which means drunk in Spanish, and he'd help talent win by smashing a bottle over their opponents' heads.
Jesus Christ. What did he think? Vince Russo had the book again?
Yeah. It's a swerve fest, man. It's a swerve.
Swerve.
I wonder what Vince Russo thinks of that. I'm sure he'll put up a podcast about how great he thinks he is and how dumb everyone else is, and I don't know, fucking shit. I don't know. I'm sure that's gonna happen. Why? I don't know. I can't answer that.
But we had the New Day.
We had
And how over are the New Day?
fucking over as shit.
They're like the most over thing on the roster right now.
Enzo and Cass. And ironically, Kevin Owens is getting a lot of pops. And so is Sami Zayn. They're singing Sami's fucking entrance music.
Yeah, which is good. But yeah, that's Kevin Owens' problem. And maybe that's the problem of the agents who lay out the match as well. I don't know, but if you're getting that many cheers, you know, because the fans respect you, maybe it's time for a babyface turn. But ultimately, the wrestler has to do things that make them a heel. And doing a bunch of high flippity-doos is going to get a pop from the crowd. You're going to be a face. That's how you'll be perceived and treated. You have to do heelish things. And you know, when the crowd cheers for you, instead of being the cool heel like a lot of wrestlers want to do, you have to turn it back on them by doing something that would garner a boo or a negative reaction. That's your job.
But it's not his fault. They like him anyway. He even calls himself the headlock master. And to be fair, he only does a flippity do like once or twice a match, and one's a frog splash. So
he's going to have to tone it down. He's going to have to do things to toy with them. He's got to, and ultimately, if the crowd respects him so much, likes him so much that, you know, over time they naturally turn him babyface, then I think WWE should run with it.
Like a buddy of ours that just got hurt, Bray Wyatt. Perfect example.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's going to make an excellent face. And I've said that for a while. His babyface fire on Raw before he was injured was excellent. I think it's going to be a very good thing for him. So, yeah.
But the New Day is fucking over as shit.
Oh yeah, they're tremendous. I mean, they're great. They're so talented, and I hope they don't ever break them up selfishly.
Me neither. And they have a lot to go with it. New Day is obviously going to retain against the Vaudevillains. I mean, they're two face tag teams. What's the point? So I wonder where they go from here.
I mean, I don't know, but you know, maybe it's Enzo and Cass or some other team. But the Vaudevillains, I think, are going to win. They're going to lose to the New Day. I hope, at least. I don't think they're going to win. I mean, the Vaudevillains. I told you this a long time ago when we talked. I mean, this was months ago on this podcast. I said the Vaudevillains gimmick is not going to get over on the main roster. You know, you could have heard a mouse fart in that arena when they came out.
No, it wasn't that bad.
It was absolutely silence.
I don't think it was that bad. I don't.
It was flat.
It's not okay. So then, as a creative team, have vignettes, build them up, give them an identity, and fucking go with it. Don't just debut them on SmackDown and not give a shit. That's their own fault.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. However, also at the same time, look at Enzo and Cass. They were over right away with that Smart Mark audience. The Vaudevillains weren't. I mean, the gimmick just doesn't fit the main roster. It's just not going to get over. But you're absolutely right. They should be investing in all of the characters before they come up to the main roster instead of just throwing them in there. That's just, you know, a really poor way to do business.
Like, why did it take them 2 weeks after Apollo Crews debuts to air a vignette for him before his match? Why not air those weeks in advance?
Well, they listened to our podcast, and when they got the suggestion, that's when they did it.
They don't actually listen to the podcast, trust me.
Hey, they might. You know, you never know. Actually, you know, Raw would be much better if they listened to our podcast, so maybe they don't.
Would it? Because Dean Ambrose would be in a feud with Sami Zayn for the WWE Championship 12 months out of the year. So they should not listen to our podcast. So what else happened last night?
Apollo Crews. I was going to say Apollo Crews beat Heath Slater and your boy Apollo. Always smiling Apollo Crews.
Why do you hate Apollo Crews? Yeah, he's a little green, but that's because he's only been in WWE since August of last year. That's only like 9 months. That's not enough time to adjust to a whole new style. I mean, he's a great wrestler, and I know you know that. You watched him in the Indies, but he's not someone like Nakamura who's a ring master. I mean, Nakamura and also they're letting him do a strong style that fits his acumen. And as far as Cruz goes, he went for 6. I mean, fuck, did he wrestle for the title in NXT one time? And they tell him to go to the main roster? Way too premature. They should have brought up somebody else, or not him at all, because they already had Big Banter Corbin. They had Enzo and Cass come up. They had Zayn be up full time a few weeks before Mania. They didn't need any more guys up there.
No, I completely agree with you on that. I don't think they should have brought him up. He could have benefited from more time. To me, he just kind of, he's green in the ring a little bit still and got some polishing to do there, which is fine. But then he has like no facial expressions. It's like he comes out and there's no like real excitement in his eyes, and he does the same little smile, but it seems totally phony, and it's just like, I don't know. It's just very rehearsed. And
to me, he's Bobby Lashley with charisma. It just hasn't been tapped yet. And no, for all the people that call me racist, sorry, their body physiques are exactly the same. Fuck yourself. And yes, he's an African American. Fuck yourself. Really, I'm just stating facts here. Apollo Crews has a big future. I think his ceiling is extremely high. They just need to know how to utilize that. Until they do that, it's not going to work. I'm sorry, it just isn't. Truthfully, they should have debuted him at like a Money in the Bank ladder match to where he can do those flippity doos and get over.
Yeah, it's I totally see him shuffling back into the mid card fairly soon. It's just the way it is. So we had the main event: Dean Ambrose and Kevin Owens, and
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't.
Kevin Owens.
No, this is important. Will you please? So. We, and I really did not mean to interrupt you. I should have said this a little sooner. As far as, Matt Hardy, his gimmick is to be an asshole on Twitter. But I think he went a little bit too far. And I don't know if you saw the tweet. It was 6 hours ago. So Impact Wrestling aired his I Quit match with Jeff Hardy. That was wrestled in, I think, April of 2011. They finally got around to it. And Matt Hardy tweeted this. Quote, a piece of the broken table pierced my flesh and hit my spine, permanently damaging my spinal cord. I am finished. Now, obviously that isn't true. Why do you go and tweet that out?
Oh man, that company's a mess. I mean,
like what the fuck?
That if you look on Twitter, they're like constantly into it with fans. They had a big, it's just they're so defensive with fans and insulting to fans of wrestling on social media and this particular Twitter. And the whole company's a mess right now. I mean, it looks, they're going to be bought, it looks like, by this company, Aerolux, or I don't know how to pronounce the fucking, who cares? But basically, it's a company that the Harris brothers work for, Ron and Don Harris, who used to be in WWE, who wrestled for TNA, and to now work on the production company that TNA uses. And these guys are essentially neo-Nazis. They have the SS tattoos.
Oh my!
And yeah, and now that company is now, it looks like, going to be potentially a majority owner of TNA. It looks like that's going to be the company that invests in TNA.
I mean, honestly, Jim Ross.
They've been paying for their TV. I mean, TNA is broke, and someone who has been there since day one told Vince Russo privately that they're broke. They're just completely broke. Yeah. And so this company, Aerolux, whatever it is, they have been paying for the last couple of TV tapings. Otherwise, they wouldn't even have been able to afford talent to be flown in to do the tapings. I mean, it's a dire situation for them. They are a mess.
Jim Ross thinks that they need a brand change and a name change. I can agree. Because I don't want to see wrestlers be out of a job. That's not why I'm a wrestling fan. There are people too. I think Dixie Carter's a piece of shit, but I also don't want to see any of them without a career, without a job to support their families. The wrestlers are people too. So on
Right.
that end, I don't want them out of a job. But that TV show is that company is a train wreck. It is a train wreck.
Yeah. I tried watching Impact this week.
How bad was it?
Oh God, it was bad. I mean,
Do
it was
you?
not.
Yeah.
It wasn't watchable.
Do you remember when Impact was good, like in the mid to late 2000s? That product was pretty good. The last time I watched TNA full time was when Bobby Roode was feuding with Austin Aries for the TNA heavyweight title. That shit was awesome because then you had the Plan C with Hulk Hogan, and he let Austin Aries, the X Division champ, if he won, challenge the heavyweight champ. It was actually entertaining and it was great. But now not so much.
It's funny you mentioned Austin Aries.
I love
Because
Austin Aries.
Austin Aries, Kurt Angle, Mr. Anderson, Bobby Roode, all these guys are still listed on the TNA active roster on their website.
Well, they've been recording shows since Vietnam, so they probably still are.
Well, I mean, okay, granted, Bobby Roode was on this past week's Impact because of just like you said. But there are plenty of people like Mr. Anderson who they fired, like Kurt Angle, who are no longer on TV but are still listed on their active roster. It's a simple fucking fix on your website. And they got the guy who's supposed to be running the website, Josh Matthews, who's also a commentator for Impact. He's actually pitching to investors with Dixie Carter, and he can't even run a fucking wrestling website. This company is a total fucking disaster.
It is. It is. It's so bad. So we don't have a lot of time left, but let's just keep talking about random shit. Fuck it. So I just saw a graphic on Twitter. So Big Banter Corbin looks like he might be in for the match of his life. And according to this graphic, it looks legit. He might be wrestling Kalisto at Payback for the United States title.
He'll beat Kalisto. Kalisto's very short, if you didn't know.
I know, and Corbin's gonna tell him to go back to Global Force Wrestling because they think it's funny.
He's gonna tell him to go back to the North Pole.
Is there the North Pole Wrestling Federation, the NPWF?
The North Pole to make toys for Santa, so all the boys and girls can have presents this year. He's an elf.
Aw, Kalisto's actually a really good wrestler. I like Kalisto. So the main event, you had Dean Ambrose facing Kevin Owens, and Ambrose picks up the victory, and Jericho attacks him from behind. I was expecting something else to happen, but I'm not upset over it. I'm not.
God damn, I can't wait to see Corbin squash Kalisto. I hope this is true.
I just bring up something pretty interesting, and you're like fucking Kalisto and Big Banter Corbin.
Who cares? I want to see Corbin squash. I mean, absolutely squash him.
Why? What's your infatuation, man? What is it? What is it? I'm serious. What is it? I like Corbin too. Don't get me wrong. I think he's funny, and his stomach is shaped really weird. Just makes me laugh.
Well, that's because he's lost a lot of weight.
He has. He was a lineman, for God's sakes.
Yes, a former NFL player. He had 300 plus pounds, and he lost a lot of weight in body fat. And I mean, he's a legit athlete. He's tall. He's got a character or a persona that looks to be him. It's very believable. It comes off very well. And so I like it. I'm a definite fan of it, and I hope he squashes Kalisto and sends him back to Mexico.
So what do you think of the Divas? Speaking of the Divas, so all in all, guys, they're still building towards that Charlotte and Talia match. All right, anyway, Bret Hart's gonna be in Natty's corner. Fucking dope. So. So the gist of the matter is, Paige said in an interview that she was really sad when the diva term got erased, and they're women wrestlers now. What is up with Paige?
I don't know. Could be that time of the month.
Time of the year, maybe. She's no, seriously. She's like,
I mean, there's something going on. Yeah.
It's like she said in an interview, you know, when you think of the term diva, you think of WWE, and I was really excited to be a diva. Like, don't you want to be a wrestler first, idiot? Like, and then you have Sasha Banks, who's like, I'll never be on Total Divas. I'm here to be a wrestler. Like, that's the fucking shit that I like.
Yeah. Well, you know, something's going on with Paige in WWE. Maybe she's not happy. Who knows?
Well, Ryback's not happy. You want to talk about Ryback?
Yeah, sure. Well, hopefully he leaves.
The big guy. Well, remember, and this is not an original joke. I'm stealing this. Ryback's not a good guy. He's not a bad guy. He's the big guy. Just like Roman is just the guy. So where does Ryback go from here? He said candidly in an interview that his contract's up soon and he's not happy where he is. You know what? If you're not happy where you are, fucking get better or don't bitch. Period. End of story. End of story.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to work on his ring work. And
his promos.
And his promos is the biggest issue, I would say.
Yeah.
They're terrible. I mean, there's no nice way to put it. They're just not good. Yeah, I mean, he's probably exactly where he belongs. I'm not a big fan of Ryback. That's not a personal thing, by the way. It never is when I say these things. It's just my opinion of his character that he portrays on TV. But, you know, I mean, it's just... there's nothing exciting, and no one's going to care if he leaves. I mean, it's not going to be a big deal to anybody. You know, TNA can't afford to sign him. And
no, because he'll want.
I think if he leaves, he'll leave the business probably. I mean, he may wrestle part-time, but he'll probably leave the business. Well, maybe that's best. Who knows? I mean, I don't think he has a very high ceiling in the business. You know, his promos are just bad. His in-ring work is not very good. He's got a great physique, but he's not overly tall either. So, you know, it's just kind of like whatever. If he leaves, he leaves.
Who's going to really care? Seriously, who's going to care?
Yeah, I don't know.
You're not going to care? I'm not going to care. All right, well, do you have anything else you want to add? We've been going on for like almost an hour here. What do you want to add?
I want to talk about the Adam Rose statement that was posted on social media.
And I'll preface this. I have a huge amount of respect for Adam Rose because of what he deals with in his personal life and for doing what he does and for suffering under a shitty gimmick, unlike the Leo Kruger gimmick, which actually would have made money. Thanks, Vince. Thanks a lot. What do you want to say about Adam Rose's statement? I thought it was really respectful of him.
Yeah, so I thought I would read it. Basically, if you've been living under a rock, he was suspended for 60 days for violating the wellness policy. And its second violation, third, obviously results in termination. And so he was compelled after being off social media to issue a statement on the suspension. Here it is. I was not going to respond to my suspension, but I feel I have to. I have 2 sons that will one day read that news about their daddy, and a sister that died from complications related to a lifelong battle with heroin. So I feel the absolute need and right to respond and let the truth be known. I'm pretty sure this response will meet nowhere near the publicity that my suspension did, and that this response is tantamount to career suicide. But I feel for my sons, my sister, and the rest of my family. You, the WWE Universe, have the right to know the truth over my suspension and what it was for. I will also quote my doctor in my response, as he was shocked and appalled by this suspension. I can say right now, I did not do anything knowingly wrong and was taking prescribed medication that my doctor and I followed all the correct protocol on. My actual response and doctor's response will be coming soon. So before you judge, know the facts. My family and I are still collecting ourselves from this blow. I have zero anger or animosity against the WWE, but feel the administrators over the WWE wellness policy were just simply not right in taking this action. But I feel facts are the facts, and my family and I will be the ones putting our lives back together after this mess. My response will be up soon, along with my doctors. And that was the end.
So what do you think?
I think it'll be very interesting. I mean, someone said on Twitter, oh, why do you think it's not steroids? Oh, come on. I mean, really? Take a look at the guy.
It's not steroids.
It's not steroids. He'd be the worst steroid user ever. I mean, come on.
I think Adam Rose is too smart to do that. I don't know his real name. I probably forget. But he's smarter than that. To be honest with you, why not make his real life personality, his gimmick, just turned up a little bit? I think he'd be over as shit.
They could have done that after the NXT special
on
ESPN, and they just blatantly chose not to.
Yeah.
I think he's hit his ceiling. Frankly, he's, I think at the next round of releases, he's very susceptible to being released soon. At the next set of releases they do.
I wonder what would have happened if they would have allowed him to keep his Leo Kruger gimmick. I think his career path would have been different. A lot more.
Well, it wouldn't have been any. I mean, like you said, I mean, it wouldn't have been any worse than what he has now.
It would have been 1,000 times better. Leo Kruger was a fucking phenomenal gimmick, and he was very, very good.
Yeah, I don't know. It was interesting. I'm glad that he spoke out, though.
Me too.
It'll be interesting to see what happens, and it kind of continues the speculation. Well, what was he really suspended for then? Who knows? But WWE obviously is not going to comment on that. They're not going to give detail. So it'll be a mystery, but I wouldn't be surprised if spring cleaning comes and he's released.
I wouldn't either. Well, speaking of spring cleaning, I got to go clean and get ready to go venture up to the north of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So, Brad, where can they find you on the internet?
At the VOTV podcast, Voices of the Voiceless, at the VOTV podcast. Don't forget to add us, tweet us, whatever else you do on the Twitter. And also subscribe to our podcast. Rate us 5 stars, nothing less. And I think that about covers it.
Okay, yeah. You can follow me at Fisher Wrestling, FISHER Wrestling. For all of your latest wrestling news, I tweet some video game stuff too, just to keep everything light and fun, the usual. So I have 1,000 followers. Let's keep it that way. Let's keep it climbing. And just like normal, I haven't told Brad because I actually figured out I can make this happen. I'll have this out Friday morning like usual. So if you're listening to us, happy Friday. I hope y'all are having a good time. Go Pens, man. Go Pen. Last night was obviously game 4. I don't know what happened yet because, like I said, this is pre-recorded, just like SmackDown. And same with Raw this past week. So we're going to find out what happens.
Hopefully they lose.
Shut the fuck up. What do you know? You don't know shit. You don't know anything. All right. Well, I hope you all have a wonderful night. Enjoy NXT. Enjoy TNA. I'm kidding. Anything else you have to say? It's probably found in some warehouse somewhere where TNA's a manufacturing company is. Wait, that's the same place. Yeah, no, nothing. I asked you if you had something.
Yeah, no. I mean, I don't. Nobody's gonna enjoy a Pens game. Nobody's gonna enjoy TNA, but they will enjoy our podcast. So keep listening.
5 stars, everyone. We'll see you next week.